Welcome back to El Chef Bigotes. Today, we're going to be comparing portable grills. In today's video, I wanted to take some time to compare these two types of portable grills. We have our old school type of clamshell grill, as well as a Kettle grill. Our Kettle grill here happens to be a Weber brand, which is one of the most common brands out there for kettles. There are other brands as well, but I just wanted to show some of the pros, some of the cons, to kind of help you make a decision perhaps on the next grill that you might want to purchase. So let's start with some of the pros. So one of the biggest pros I would think of these is how portable they are. So for example, this style that I happen to have here, it actually folds. It collapses pretty well. It's pretty compact. So that not only makes it very easy to transport, if you want to go to the beach, you want to go to the park, you want to take it to your buddy's house and cook over there, it's really easy to transport. It collapses well. That even might fit in the trunk of your car, in the back of a small SUV. That makes it a big advantage or a big pro for this type of grill. This Weber grill, or this type of Kettle grill, is also quite portable. You can take it apart if you wanted to, but most of the time you just kind of throw it in the back of the truck if you have a pickup truck. If you wanted to take it apart a little bit, you could. There's these little buttons at the bottom that come off, the legs come off. It's a little inconvenient, but it is pretty portable as well. But for the most part, you usually keep it as is here. So that's one of the big advantages, is how portable and compact they are. Easy to store, takes up a little bit of space. The other advantage that we have on these is that they're relatively affordable. You know, these aren't very expensive. This style of grill here, you can probably get them as low as like $40–50 at your local hardware store or a big chain store. So very reasonably priced. The kettles are a little more expensive. You're going to probably end up paying somewhere between $80 to like $100 for like a basic grill. This particular one that we have here is a 22-inch diameter, which is a decent size. It's good if you're going to be grilling just for your family or just a few people. It's a pretty standard kind of entry-level size of 22 inches. They do make them a little bit bigger, more expensive than this one, but still a lot more reasonable than a lot of the other grills that are out in the market today. So once again, another benefit of these style of grills is that they're relatively affordable. The other advantage of these types of grills compared to some of the other bigger, more intricate type of grills is that they are relatively easy to clean. On this type, for example, inside there is a tray that catches the charcoal. So once you light your charcoal, you're done with your cook. What ends up happening there is that the ashes kind of accumulate down at the bottom. You simply take out the tray. You do want to be careful the way you get rid of the ashes, because they do stay hot, believe it or not, for at least a couple of days. So don't toss it right away. Don't throw it into your trash can, for example. That's a fire hazard. Get yourself some kind of a metal bucket, for example. You can dump it in there and let them cool off in there. The other thing you can do with the ashes is put them into your garden. If you put them into the garden, they're kind of a fertilizer. This one's actually a little more convenient when it comes to cleaning. At the bottom of this kettle, there are some vent holes. And those vent holes actually serve two different purposes. First of all, allow the air to flow in as you're doing your cook. You can control the temperature. But the other purpose that it serves is that it allows you to, you just have to move the lever back and forth, and it allows the ashes that have settled at the bottom of the kettle to empty out at the bottom. There's a catch tray at the bottom. Again, there are several versions of this. There are different styles, either by Weber or by other brands. There's actually a little bit of a nicer one that catches the ashes down at the bottom and makes it really easy to take out the ashes and dump them out. This happens to have a simple, like a dish, which works just fine. Again, a good entry-level type of kettle grill. But that is also another advantage of these, that they are relatively easy to clean out and get ready for your next cook. The other thing, at least I'd like to mention one advantage of the Kettle over the clamshell, is that the Kettle grill is going to allow you to use different types of techniques for cooking. You know, I keep mentioning that word technique throughout this channel, and as we develop and make more videos, we'll be learning about offset type of cooking, a snake version. We're going to be using different kinds of accessories to do different types of zone cooking. That is something you can definitely do in a Kettle grill. In your clamshell grill, you're kind of limited to that. You know, it's really just made for just direct heat, your traditional cooking right over the charcoal, which again is not a problem. It's your more traditional cooking method of direct heat. and it's going to work just fine, but it's pretty limited to the type of the type of techniques that you'll be able to do on clamshell versus what you'll be able to do on a kettle grill. So those are some of the pros. Let me just mention a couple of cons, and there's not many. Number one is both of these are relatively small grills, okay? This grill here has about 300 square inches of cooking surface. Although that sounds like a lot, 300. 300 inches of cooking surface is not a lot. If you estimate kind of each steak is going to take up about 40 to 50 square inches of cooking space. So in reality, if you got some decent sized steaks, you're probably only going to be able to make like 4 at a time on this particular type of grill, which if you're cooking perhaps just for your family is not a problem, right? It's fine. Where you might get yourself into a little trouble is if you're trying to cook for a lot of people, it just might take a very long time to cook for everybody. The other thing to consider is many times when you're grilling, perhaps you're not just grilling meat. You know, you're going to be grilling veggies. Perhaps you even want to put like a pot of beans or a pot of rice or some veggies, and you want to warm them up. You can do that on these kind of grills as well. But just keep in mind that because it's relatively small, that's the only thing you'll be able to do. If you're going to be warming something else up, you're not going to be able to do any cooking of any kind of meat or anything else. So again, not the end of the world. It's still very beneficial. This is still a very good, dependable, old faithful grill. I don't say anything bad about it. Just know that it's limited to how much you can cook or warm up at any given time. This particular kettle at 22 inches gives you about 400 square inches of cooking surface, which now you're looking at a little bit more obviously than this one. And so here you can probably do maybe even 6 steaks or even a little bit more depending on the size of the steak. So you can cook more at one time. And with this one, we'll be able to use different kind of accessories. We'll be able to do different kinds of zone cooking. We'll be able to do offset. We can even do a little bit of smoking of the meats inside of this kind of grill as well. So a little more versatile for sure than your standard grill here. So again, both very good. If you're just thinking about getting into grilling or getting into barbecuing, these are great grills. This is definitely your entry level here. You'll get a lot of benefit. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn how to light the charcoal. You'll learn how to do a lot of direct cooking. You'll be able to learn how to cook meats, veggies, different kinds of proteins. And so definitely a really good grill, entry-level grill for you to use. I'd recommend it if you're just starting. And if you want to graduate a little bit more, a kettle grill is also a very good option for you. I'm going to show you a little more videos, a little bit more close-ups here so that you can see what goes on inside of them. So here are some of the features that I was talking about on a kettle. This top grade obviously is your cooking surface. Like I mentioned earlier, you get close to 400 square inches of cooking surface on this. So it's a decent amount if you're cooking for a small group. This comes right out like this. And then this is the grate for the charcoal. So when we go to light up the charcoal, we're going to place it on here. And then underneath here, as you can see, there's I'll call them almost like propellers down at the bottom here. And there's a lever underneath. And so what's going to happen is while you're cooking, you can control how much heat comes in or how much oxygen comes in, which is going to create more heat, more oxygen, more heat, less oxygen, less heat. But then when you're done cooking, there's going to be a lot of ashes in here. And then you just kind of move this back and forth, and it's going to push all the ashes down through those openings, falling into the tray underneath. So like I mentioned earlier, relatively easy to clean out these kind of grills. One other suggestion is that when you're done cooking, what you want to do is close the vents, both on the top and on the bottom. Because what that's going to do, it's going to close off the oxygen into the grill, which is also going to cause any leftover briquettes to cool off, but maintain their form. What that's going to allow you to do is that when you go to cook the next time, you can reuse some of those partially used briquettes. And so maybe what you can do the next time is use half the amount of new briquettes and then use half of the partially used briquettes. And it will save you a little bit of money by obviously using less amount of charcoal. And who does not want to save a little bit of money? I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, you're really going to get a good deal whether you buy your entry-level grill or your little more advanced grill. They're both very good grills. They cook very well. The way I might refer to them is this is good, this is better. But either way, you know, it comes down to obviously money. It comes down to preference. It comes down to how much space you have to store them. But at the end of the day, I could recommend either one of these as being a great entry-level grill if you want to start off your grilling experience. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Sas y tan tan. That was not part of the plan.